Hello again, folks. Jake here. First of all, thank you to everyone who has followed my story so far and expressed concern. Last night was tense, and I need to share the latest events. After the incident with the meat dish, I quickly pressed the button under the counter, summoning Mr. Gonzalez, expecting the worst. It felt like an eternity until he finally called me, making me jump back in fear at the ringing of the phone. His voice on the other end sounded calm, but I could sense the tension. "You forgot the dish, didn't you, boy?" he said, straight to the point. Yes, Mr. Gonzalez, I don't know what happened. I only noticed when things became more insistent." My voice betrayed my anxiety. Happens to the best of us, Jake. The creature likes to test. See how far you can follow the rules. However, you need to be more careful. A breach in the contract can have unexpected consequences, and failures like this will not be tolerated. And I don't mean tolerated by me, if you catch my drift. Put the dish there, and maybe it'll be in a huff and won't accept it, so keep an eye on the meat aisle. He hung up before I could even thank him, or ask more questions. I returned to work, still tense, keeping a close eye on every move, making sure not to make any more mistakes. The night continued. Customers came and went, and I kept the lights on, following the rules precisely. It seemed like the air around me was calmer, less aggressive. Even the creature that had licked my face had disappeared. Maybe it was satisfied with my discomfort and decided to retreat. I just hoped everything would go back to normal. Around 3 AM, the lights started flickering frantically, and a whispering voice echoed throughout the store. Indistinct words that I didn't even know in what language they were. Shelves shook, and objects were thrown off their shelves. A sinister presence hung in the air, making me cower on the floor. Terrified, I looked around searching for something, and I realized a darkness spreading in the meat aisle. It was as if something prevented the light itself from entering there. I swallowed hard and quickly grabbed my flashlight. My hands started shaking as, shining the light into the darkness, I saw those dreadful eyes staring at me, along with a mouth where a piece of chicken lay. I kept the light strong on the aisle, barely holding onto the flashlight, and slowly, the presence dissipated. I couldn't see the creature anymore when the front door opened, and I jumped, pointing the flashlight right at the face of the entering customer. I'm sorry, sir," I said, turning off the light. He seemed unfazed. That's when I noticed him. A distinctly peculiar man. He wore a pulled-down hat and sunglasses, even at night. He had long, greying hair and a stubbly beard. His furtive manner raised my suspicions, and I felt a shiver down my spine. He approached the counter, but something about him made me uneasy. His movements were calculated, and his eyes seemed to penetrate my soul. "What do you want?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. He smiled. A smile that didn't reach his eyes, remaining cold and expressionless. "I'm looking for something special," he murmured, looking around the store. As he examined the aisles, I noticed his shadow moving. It didn't seem to belong to him, but rather followed him silently, with slightly different, slightly delayed movements. A wave of discomfort ran through my body. The customer finally approached the counter with a vacant look. "Do you believe in secrets, Jake?" he whispered, looking both ways. "How do you know my—" I began, now more uncomfortable than ever. "Secrets hidden from you. Things that happen when you're looking the other way." "I still don't quite understand what you're getting at." He put his hand in his coat and pulled out a black and white photo. To give you context, during the slavery period, there were a series of revolts known as the Texas Troubles. where slaves and abolitionists were pursued and later hanged. The photo in question depicted one of these situations. 2 bodies were tied to a tree, hanging by their neck, and below, next to them, a man with a thick moustache posed with his rifle, as if boasting about a successful hunt. The thing is, a few seconds later, I realized something. The man in question, with the rifle, was our sheriff, Butch Cornwell. But how? These events are from 1860. Think about it, kid. It seems like someone wants to hide something from you. Those words shook me. I always trusted the sheriff, believing he was keeping things under control. But now, in front of this stranger, I began to question if I really knew the man with the golden star. The mysterious customer left the store, leaving me perplexed and full of unanswered questions. The shadow continued to dance around him, as if responding to his call. I decided that I need to uncover the truth about the sheriff, and what is really happening, not only in the store, but in the whole town. There are more secrets hidden in the shadows than I could ever imagine. Well, the weekend is approaching, and some regional holiday festivities are coming up. I hope to keep an eye on Butch, and at least understand what's going on around here. It has crossed my mind that maybe it's a trick from the entity to break the trust between us, but I'm still not sure. That customer was eerie, but in a different way from the store. I'll keep you updated and welcome any tips on espionage you can give me. Okay. Honestly, after part 2, I was pretty convinced that Mr. Gonzalez was secretly working with, or maybe for, the entity. But maybe it's the sheriff. Or maybe the entity is a lot smarter than what we think. All I know for sure, I can't wait for more from the Mark to find out. Sadly, we are now up to speed with as far as they've ran, so next video we'll be heading away from our favourite monster-filled gas station. But I'm sure we can still keep it pretty spooky. See y'all in the next one.